Hello and welcome to the Best Today podcast. I am your host, Shantae Grant, and this is the 100th time that I have said that into this microphone on the Best Today podcast. And that's really exciting. I mean, for 100 weeks consistently, every Monday, you have turned to the Best Today podcast, and there has been a new episode waiting for you. And so many of you have then turned and joined the community or sent us a message or a text to share your thoughts, your response, your gratefulness for the episode, what you've learned, your follow-up questions. And for that, I'm really grateful, because one of the things that I hope to do with this podcast is for it to be a conversation starter, meaning you either go out and have conversations with the people around you, and or come back and talk to us. We want me. I love hearing your thoughts, your response to the podcast episodes every week. And if you are new to the podcast, guess what? There are 99 other episodes waiting for you. And really, in all honesty, there are 200 before that, because before this was the Best Today podcast, it was the Business Life and Joy podcast that I began over, I really don't even know, however many 300 weeks ago was. So a long time ago. And so I'm just so grateful to have you as a listener. And I wanted to do a number of things with this episode. You know, if it's 100, it feels grand and exciting and special, but really every single episode is special. It's exciting and it's grand in its own way. We do have a listener question, from one of our fantastic Best Today customers that I'm going to get to later on in the episode. But really, I thought what I really want to do with you in this episode is to talk to you, to give you an understanding of where we've been, where we are, and a little glimpse into where we're going. Not only Best Today as a company, me, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to have a conversation with you, and I want you to talk back to me, even if you're talking to yourself while you're on a walk or in the gym or driving in your car, or listening while you're at work, wherever you're listening. And actually, I'd love to know, where do you listen? Let me know. I'd love to know, where do you listen to the podcast? Text us at 404-737-1002. I'm really interested to know. Or you can email us, hello@besttoday.co. Where do you listen to the podcast most regularly? Okay, so let's start with where we've been, and where the we I'm referring to is Best Today as a company. In 2020, when we first launched in March the pre-orders for the Best Today guide, which at the time was the only product that was available to purchase from Best Today. When we launched at the top of a pandemic at that, because it was March 16th, 2020, it was the first day that my daughter was home from school because it was shut down. My hope when I started this company was to give women tools that would incorporate their fullness, their humanity when planning, so that you would stop living in chaos or trying to organize chaos, instead of think differently. Instead of, how do I organize this mess? How do I clean up this mess? Where did this mess come from? Where did this come from? Teaching you how to pluck up roots rather than always trimming off the edges that come above the surface. I wanted to help women to stop treating themselves like machines who can only be proud when they have a checked off to-do list to show for their time. I wanted to remind people of the importance of their mental and emotional health and wellness, and how that's something we have to actively put effort into every single day, and not wait for a breakdown or some major life event to happen. But that if we can understand the importance of it every day, on those days when those things happen, we actually may be better equipped to allow it to go through us, us go through it. These were the things that were in my head. And I knew the best way to come at that was with time, because all of this happens in time. And what is the number one thing I heard the last 7 years prior, when I was working with women all over, was, I don't have time. I don't have time. I don't have time. And so that's what I wanted to help to rectify those things. And I started out with the Best Today guide, which still remains our top seller. and it's better than ever. And of course, I'm going to link to it in the show notes for today's episode at besttoday.co/100. But when I started, that's what I was thinking. Okay, the Best Today guide. I hadn't thought about what's going to be the next product after that. I wanted to deeply enrich people with just that, right? And that's where we were, right? And then over time, I realized, and this is still within 2020, that women also needed community. And I knew that. I needed to create a space. And originally it was just a Facebook group, but I knew, no, that's not what people need. No one on earth needs another Facebook group. No one. And you cannot convince me otherwise. I know you have one you love. Oh, it's so great. Ooh, no one on the planet needs another Facebook group. Okay. I said what I said. I knew I wanted to create community, but that wasn't the place where, it's hard to build a haven in hell. And that's what social media, in my opinion, has become. And so, if it's all just, I'm gesturing, you can't see me. I'll get back to that. Basically what I'm saying is I knew I couldn't build something healthy to grow in a place that didn't have fertile ground. So I had to get it off of social. So I created our own community, the Best Today community, a place where people could exist and get started with our tools, or decide whether or not they want to get started with our tools, or just really enjoy the concepts that I teach, to give them a safe place to be surrounded with other women who also are on that journey. And so we created the community, and then we created online tools because I knew there were a lot of immediate pain points and problems that our audience was experiencing. And so the first one, of course, was Right Now Routine, when I realized, okay, what people are saying is they need help with creating systems within their lives that they can pick up and put down as needed, but that can help them. Because that's what routines are, right? They're just a flow. You can choose to turn it on, turn it off. You can change it. You can tweak it. It is nothing rigid. I have tons of podcast episodes about routine. You just go click on the word routine at besttoday.co/podcast. We have them all categorized for you. But created Right Now Routine, created Clean One Room when I realized people needed decluttered spaces. A lot of people like, oh, I can't create a routine for my, my laundry or this because it's just, everything is all over the place. And that's when I created Clean One Room, because I knew if people had decluttered spaces, they'd actually feel better, and maybe they'd enjoy them more. You'd enjoy your home, enjoy the space. You'd say you had time now because you're not cleaning up all the time. You spend more time. You could actually go in there and plan, and you'd have a place to actually enjoy, rather than saying my house is a mess and so I'm going to escape to TV, to screens, to social media. And I knew that I could help with that. And that's what Clean One Room has done. It has really allowed people to enjoy their homes and keep them clean, right? One room at a time. And I knew if I taught you how to execute on your plans, that you could actually start getting the things that you wanted to do done. And so that's when the online tools came in, Right Now Routine, Clean One Room, which both came in 2020 as well. And then Plans Be Done, which came later. And that's really like where we started with those few products, 3 digital, a community, and the physical product, which was Best Today. And over time, so 2021, 2022, things evolved to breaking down the Best Today guide and teaching it in smaller sections for people who really wanted to start small. The weekly preview pads, the daily planning pad, the results and outcome pad, today's one thing, the morning and evening routine pads, the encouragement, so that you would be encouraged, right? I'm wearing one now. This is what my Best Today looks like shirt, stickers, pins, things so that you would constantly have those reminders that we stand for at Best Today around you. One, to remind you that we're here. You're surrounded by us. We are that for you. We become that safe space through the community, by you having our tools in front of you, but also having things like that keep going, or one today at a time sticker, that pin that tells you that you're worthy, that shirt that reminds you, this is what your best today looks like. This is what my best today looks like. These are the things that I created very intentionally to surround you. This podcast is to surround you with the things that you need the messages that you need, the encouragement, the guidance, the stories. Every episode features a customer's testimonial about one of our resources so that you can know that you're not alone. Other people are here and it's working for them and it can work for you. Every single thing has been done with great intention. And now as I sit here recording the 100th episode, and that's another change, right? We took my old podcast, The Business Life and Joy, which was focused on when I was more so talking to an audience of business owners, but also sharing my life and of course my core value of joy in between, to what is now the Best Today podcast, but making that intentional switch because I wanted to be talking to you, to the people who needed this every week, some type of guidance, encouragement, an answer to a question, help with understanding a resource that we have made available for you. These are the things that this podcast does. And so as I sit here and we're heading to approach 3 years, which it does not feel like it has been almost 3 years since we launched this product in 2020, but according to the calendar, it is, right? The vision hasn't changed, but the depth of it has, right? Because what I've realized is I wanted to do what I felt like swimming in the 10 feet deep waters, right? Really knew I wanted to do meaningful, deep work that really helped. Primarily, in my mind, when I create, I am creating for women, but we have men who use our products as well. They're for humans. But I'm always going to slant and create with women in mind. One, because I am one, and two, because it's the audience that I have surrounded myself and I just have a huge heart for. But I want to start in 10-foot waters, but what I learned from putting things out there and then seeing it work and take root in your lives, and then it has grown in so many different ways and created other avenues that I then think about, that we were swimming in 100 waters deep, right? 100 feet. No, what am I saying? 100-foot deep waters. Okay. You know what I'm saying? So not just 10, right? So it always had great depth, but it's even deeper now is the whole thing I was trying to say. And, I just feel so, trying to think of the word. I'm just much more deepest on where that keeps coming to my mind is just more deeply connected to this vision. You know, I realize that so many people, perhaps you listening right now, are frogs sitting in boiling water, suffering from 2nd and 3rd degree burns and complaining about it without realizing it's because you're in the boiling water and you won't get out. And you can't, like, you have the capacity to get out. You have the ability to get out, but you won't get out of the water. And if you don't know the analogy, if you're not familiar with the story, the metaphor, episode 40, I talk about it. I think it's called, Are You the Frog in the Boiling Water? But so many people are the frog, and they're sitting in the boiling water and they're suffering. And I'm going to tell you, when you are a person who is looking at frogs in boiling water, it's really, and you care deeply for them, it's really, really hard. And it helps me to understand why I really am growing to have a disgust for social media. I'm going to talk about it a lot in this episode. This is not a bashing of social media, and maybe in a way it is actually. And understand, you may have a great story about how something on social media changed your life, helped you. Maybe that's how you found me. Yay, I'm so glad. But if someone said, I'm going to give you this tool, it's going to kill 85 people, but it will help 15. Do you want it? I think you turn it down. Okay. So it's not discounting the 15, but I'm really thinking about everyone. Okay. And so as I sit here and I think, the world is constantly distracting and deceiving so many people, and they won't take the time to stop to see it, right? You get into this fixed movement that you've just accepted that this is my life and I'll just keep going along with it. I'm going to complain along the way. I'm not going to do much to change it. I'm just going to keep going in and day out. This is the way you live your life. Everyone does it, and then you die. And it doesn't have to be that way. So what I have decided is I am going to sharpen who I'm trying to talk to when I'm talking about Best Today and the work that we do. I have to look for people who care deeply about the time that they have here on this earth. I believe that's you. That's likely why you're here listening. I have to talk to people who want to get the most out of life, who want to be mentally and emotionally well, who desire self-awareness, but also want to practice self-love, who understand that there's something you can do about life, but it will require your effort, and understand that you are worth the effort, or at least are trying to understand that you are worth the effort. Those are the people I want to reach, because those are the ones willing to get in the fight. What has been frustrating for me is trying to talk to people who don't want to get in the fight. In fact, they want to fight you about why they can't get in the fight, right? Why they're not willing to get into this fight for their lives. And I have released myself of trying to convince people that they're in the boiling water. I'm looking for people who realize I'm in the boiling water and I want out, or who've gotten out and it's like, and I want to stay out, because I want to stay out, right? Because unfortunately, I've also learned that some people want to be deceived and distracted, because avoidance feels normal. It feels safe. It feels good. It feels doable. At Best Today, we exist to help women just like you be your best one today at a time. So each week on the podcast, we are going to highlight your stories and your voices. So let's see what's in the inbox today. This week, we have a 5-star review from Carlin Ferguson about the One Today at a Time 2-day in-person workshop. I'm so grateful to share this 5-star review. The 2-day live event, which took place we had a December group and a January group, were phenomenal. If we decide to do this event in 2023, you do not want to miss this opportunity. We will likely do things a little bit differently this year to incorporate more people, but let's just hear what Carlin has to say. So much more than I thought it would be. I went to the One Today at a Time in-person workshop with the idea we'd get deeper into developing routines and being intentional with our time. While we did indeed do that, it was so much more. Shantae guided us through 2 days of focusing on ourselves, identifying the thoughts and behaviors we needed to release, and replacing those with positive, more affirming behaviors was needed in order to truly focus on the information being taught. We identified our core values, which are at the foundation of who we are and how we want to show up in the world. Being away from the distractions of life and just writing was so encouraging. It all connected to our plan we created for how we can be our best every day. It doesn't end there. After the workshop, you're connected with your group in the Best Today community for support, encouragement, and accountability. How often do you get that after attending a workshop? I left the workshop with the new hope that I can and I will be my best one today at a time. Thank you so much, Carlin. And yes, each cohort, each group gets a secret group inside of the Best Today community that only comprises of everyone who was in that room during the workshop. It's so powerful. And again, it goes back to what I was talking about earlier about the importance of community. I don't want to just hand you something. I want to then surround you with what you need so that you can flourish and thrive. Again, make sure you're on our email list so you don't miss out on any potential live events that we will be doing in 2023. You're going to want to do that by going to besttoday.co/email, which I'll also link in the show notes at besttoday/100. Thank you, Carlin, for your 5-star review. I'm so grateful to have gotten the chance to spend those 2 days with you. You are amazing. Thank you all so much again for just a fantastic 2 events in December and January. Get on our email list if you want to be in the know when our next in-person event is going to be. And thank you again, Carlin. I have never desired to do shallow work. I am a deep end person. Not literally, because actually, not so fun fact, I can't swim. But I'm going to learn how to swim in 2023. That is something that I resolved within myself. I am going to learn how to swim. However, I mean, I can swim enough to save my life, but I can't, I would not purposely jump in the deep end of a pool. Let's just say that. Okay. But So literally, no, but figuratively, I am a deep end person. I want to do and I want to create things that go beyond surface level. And I need beyond surface level people to do the work that I do. And so for me, I have to go to where beyond surface level people are. And social is not usually that, right? That's who I'm focusing on. And so now my time and energy needs to be spent in going into those places and finding those spaces and places. So that's where I am. This is again, giving, it's so funny, giving the state of address, or what am I saying? Trying to address where we've been, where we're going, where we are also is kind of a where I've been, where I'm going, where I am, because I am the visionary for this company. I am the leader of this company. I'm the founder of this company. And this isn't a company that is unattached to my values or unattached from my visions and thoughts. So there's a connection there. And so these are the things that have been going on in my mind and that I'm realizing and having to release and understand. And that's going to dictate how you see me in business and how you see the company living out before you. We have some really, 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 really amazing products coming this year and next year that are already in the works. But of course, with life, have challenges in getting produced overseas and coming and all of that not so fun stuff. We also move slowly because we're still small. I have less than 5 employees and less than 10 people total who work, whether they're an employee or a contractor. We create products when we have the cash to produce them. So we move at the speed of revenue. And I'm not afraid of slow, even though I recognize the high level of unfunness of moving slowly when you're a visionary and you have so many ideas that you can see how they could help people. And I get excited. Creating is the most fun thing that I do for my work, creating and connecting. Those are my 2 favorite things about the work that I do. But with all that said, I am excited that this is 100 episodes because it's yet another display of what consistency can do. One today at a time, here 1 week at a time, a new episode. And just want to give you some updates and think about okay, where we've been. We started with those products and me thinking, I'm going to do this one thing, 10 feet of water, and realizing, no, we're going to do more. And really for me, I'm going to narrow who I'm talking to because it causes great frustration. I teach this when I teach a class about honoring the season of life. And I have them build this triangle and we talk about what's in the triangle and that when you go outside of the triangle, it is a source of discontentment, frustration, distraction, all these other things. And I had to kind of call myself on that. And it's like, I've been trying to talk to so many people and reach people who really don't have ears to hear what I'm trying to teach and what I have to say. I've been going outside of my triangle of people. And that's hard because, again, when you see someone boiling in the water and you're like, I see you boiling in the water, I can help you. And it's like, no, but I really like watching you talk about me boiling in the water, but I'm going to stay here in the water. It is for a person like me. It is very hard, which is one of the reasons why I'm slowly removing myself from Instagram, which is really my only source of social media that I use. I only want to connect in places that are intentionally created for your good. And there is no social network that is created for your good. And now clearly I'm talking about the large mainstream ones. My blog is where I'm planning to share more of my writings, my thoughts, parts of my life. I'll link to that in the show notes, which will be at besttoday.co/100. Of course, there's the Best Today community. That is the number one place. That is why I created the community, to have a safe space created for your good, for you. And this podcast, which you can clearly know how to access because you're listening right now. And I think that's more than enough. Why would and when I list those things, I'm like, social media isn't even necessary. You have the blog where I get to kind of share the things I'm thinking, writing, working on, what's going on over in my life, what intention looks like right now, and how that might shift in just a matter of days, weeks, minutes, years. The podcast and the community. That's a lot, right? And 2 of those are absolutely free to you. So I was thinking the other day, I saw someone with public figure under their name on Instagram. And I was like, public figure? and this wasn't an elected official, because when I think of public figure, I think I have asked the public to rely on me to choose me to represent them. That's what I think of public. And I think rather a better term is elected official, right? Because we're all private citizens, right? Private humans, individuals. You know, I'm not a public figure, and I want to make that clear, right? I want to be very clear about that. You know, I am not trying to Kardashianize my life. And even they deserve privacy, right? I'm going to say that. All humans, like, we are private individuals. We're not elected officials. Unless you're listening to me and you are an elected official, and even to an extent, that doesn't mean that you owe everyone your whole self, right? I'm a private individual who understands the impact of sharing parts of me while also upholding firm boundaries in the process. And I don't know, it's just something about, I saw that and I was just looking at it. I was like, public figure. Do you really want to be a public figure? Like this, listen, that sounds like public bathroom, a place where anyone can walk in and out and use you at their discretion, say what they want to say. It's just no, thank you. The lack of boundaries in this world have led to the demise of too many humans, some permanently. You know, the deterioration of so many people's mental and emotional well-being. It's really, really hard to watch. And that's why I've had to remove myself slowly. And at some point it will be completely. But that's where I am right now. Those are the things that have been going through my mind, and it will be reflected in different ways in the things that we continue to create, the spaces where I will show up, where this company will show up, because there's great work to be done. And I believe that there are millions of people who want to get out of the boiling water, who want to stop just living, accepting the messages of, oh, there's just so many deception and distraction that this world is throwing at them, and living that lie and making agreement with it. I know that there's more. And I want that for you. And for those people, I am going to continue to commit myself and my work to you. And just keep my focus there, and not on the people who are boiling and want to stay there and who just want to watch me for entertainment. I'm not an entertainer. I'm a teacher. I'm a thought leader. I'm not here to entertain. I'm here to try to help you in your real life, because you matter. And the frustration level has reached its beyond point of being looked at as entertainment while people are suffering, and I'm offering them the lifesaver, and they're just drowning and willingly doing so. I wish I could put into words how, for a person like me, the way I'm created and wired and what I have been gifted to do in this world, it is very hard to watch. And I have to change where my eyes are so that I don't watch it. I have to dust my feet off and move on to people who are willing to say, you have something I need, and I am worth the effort of putting in to do something about it. So that is my mind space. That is where I am. That is where I'm going. This episode is kind of an update, me just talking to you as if me and you were sitting here having lunch or brunch. But it's also a wake-up call if it's for you, because an intentional life is calling you, and you're worth it. You're worth the effort it takes. Drop the distractions and wake up to the ways in which the world is feeding you a false narrative almost everywhere you turn. Sometimes there's this line, my daughter enjoyed watching Matilda the musical, and you know, you listen to the songs and you're dancing to them and you're listening, and then you start, she really loves to actually like learn the songs. And so I put the lyrics up, and there's this one song about revolting, and it was like, it says something to the effect of, if enough of us, if more people choose wrong, then that makes it right. And I thought about that, and I'm like, if that's not a description of this world, just because quote unquote everyone's doing it doesn't make it right, healthy, correct for you. And so much is being marketed as right or truth that is completely not. And so this is a wake-up call for you to open your eyes and ears, connect to truth, because you are being fed a lot of lies at every turn. You are the frog in the hot water. It did not start off hot. It started in something that felt comfortable to you and just continued to be turned up. Again, go back to episode 40. You'll hear the whole analogy and I talk about it there. I'll link to it in the show notes today as well, or you can just tap back 60 episodes is episode 40. But I want you to be okay with missing out or not knowing what's going on. It's actually quite freeing. And if you participated in our last year when we did the social free July, you know that. Get off of social media and use that time and space to connect with who you are. What do you want? Connect with yourself, the things that matter to you. Maybe you don't even know what those are. I believe those should be requirements in life. Like before you can even log into an app, it's like, are you clear on who you are and what you want? Because if not, this app is going to make it worse. It's going to sell you all these other things and make you think this is who you are and what you want, right? If you don't know, it's okay. But you don't have free time to give away to strangers on the internet. Your answers, what you're looking for, the thing that you're desiring out of life, it's not on social media. And again, not to pick on social media because the same is true for so many other things, but it's the greatest poison right now. And yes, there might be small pockets of medicine within the poison, but the poison is being consumed, which kind of dilutes any good from the little pockets of medicine that might be there, right? At least, again, this is my take, my observation, which is the benefit when you have your own podcast. And if those are just the things that have been running through my head, really. I just want to share kind of what's been going on in my heart and my mind. And it's changing the way I'm doing things. You'll notice if you do follow me on Instagram or if you, our email list, you'll just notice some things that I'm doing differently because of these thoughts that are running through my mind. If you're someone who's been listening to all 100 episodes or most of them, right? Or maybe if you're someone who's listened to over 100 because you listened to the old podcast before, wow, thank you. If you've listened to a few, if you've listened to just this one, thank you. Please go back and listen to others. Find what you need. We have them categorized for you at besttoday.co/podcast, which I'll link to in the show notes to today's episode, which is besttoday.co/100. Thank you so much for listening, for being a listening ear. If you're still listening to this episode and have not turned it off, then that means more than likely you are the person I am trying to reach, help, walk alongside, because I'm on this journey with you. Be clear, like I am walking alongside you, as I believe any great teacher, leader does and is walking alongside of you. We did have one question from an amazing podcast listener and customer. So I wanted to play her question, answer that, and then we'll call it a wrap. I would love to know also, here's another question for you. Text us your answer. 404-737-1002. If you're one of our international customers, you can email us hello@besttoday.co. Which of the past 100 episodes has meant the most to you? Favorite, meant the most to you? I'd love to know. That's really important. Let me know. Now let's get to Teresa's question. It's a really good one and it helps to tell you a little bit more about where we're going.
Shante, congratulations on 100 episodes. This is Teresa Diulis. I have a question for you. I know that you are here for women to help us, but I am curious, since you have a growing young woman in your house, if you're considering at some point creating any products geared towards young women. I know what a difference you've made in my life, and I found you as an aging woman. So I was just curious if that's something on the horizon for you. I know you dream a lot and have a lot of ideas for the future. So that's just my question.
Teresa, thank you so much for that amazing question. You probably can tell from the smile in my voice right now that the answer to your question is absolutely yes. There are actually products already mapped out for our younger generation. And that is actually one of the North Stars for me personally and in this company, is to grow to the place. There are so many things and ideas that I can't share yet. outside of products, I'll say that, for our younger women in particular, and then also products for just our younger humans. And I cannot wait. I cannot wait until they become a reality. This is also just a reminder to those of you listening, support small businesses, because every dollar you place into them, it's pouring into a future of that company that if you love what they're doing now, you're helping them to be able to do way more in the future. So yes, you're right. Not only do I have a young woman growing up in my home, but I get to watch my nieces, my nephews, close friends who are, again, just like nieces and nephews, grow up, and I listen to them and I see the things that they're in need of. And I'm also just in community with so many other moms, parents, that I know the things that I'm teaching us as adults. How wonderful would it be if we had learned them at an earlier age, if we had practiced them at an early age, if we learned these things younger, how much that makes our world, is going to make our world be going forward. So the short answer is absolutely yes. Products are coming for our younger people, and I cannot wait to share the first one. I already know what the first one is. It's actually similar. I can't get into it. Yes, new things are coming, and the next big new product you see us launch, which is coming this spring, just know that you'll see more things like that made available for our younger generation as well. Thank you so much. And here's the thing, I already know I can count on you, Teresa, to be there to support that. So this is also me saying thank you to you for being a consistent supporter of Best Today, a champion of us, not only purchasing the products for yourself, but for others, for being a listener, for being actively engaged. I am grateful for you. And part of the reason that I can do the work that I do is because of you. And so this is my thank you to you directly. And then my thank you to those of you who those words are true to as well. Thank you for supporting this mission, this company, this work, because you know that it is needed in this world. And I am grateful for you. Thank you for 100 episodes. And here's to the next 100. Thank you again for listening to this week's episode of the Best Today podcast. Don't forget to text us. Let me know what has been the most meaningful or your favorite over the last 100. I'd love to hear. You can text us at 404-737-1002 or email us at hello@besttoday.co. Thank you for being present with me for this week's episode of the Best Today podcast. Until next time, remember that you are capable and you are worthy of being your best one today at a time. And you have everything you need to have everything you want. So go on and shout it out as you live it out. This is what my best today looks like. I'll talk to you on the next episode. If you enjoyed this week's episode of the Best Today podcast, you are going to love the Best Today Guide. Our Better Than a Planner guide teaches you how to get clear on what you want, identify your self-destructive habits and behaviors, and intentionally create space to prioritize yourself every single day. Don't go the journey to being your best one today at a time without the Best Today Guide. See inside its pages and order yours today at besttodayguide.com. Even better, when you order the Best Today Guide, we gift you with your first month free inside of the Best Today membership. So what are you waiting for? We're giving you everything you need to trade busy for intention. Go to besttodayguide.com and order yours today and join thousands of women across the globe proclaiming each day, this is what my best today looks like.